Welcome to SHA, the Sound Healers Association, founded by Jonathan Goldman in 1982, bringing education and awareness of the use of sound and music for healing and transformation. SHA features presentations by founding pioneers in the modern sound healing field, and we have a sound healing directory allowing you to list your work or find practitioners and teachers. There's a monthly online meeting, a blog, a vast resource of articles, and much more. SHA, the Sound Healers Association, is dedicated to bringing harmony to the world of sound.
Okay, here we go, and we're jumping in now. And again, I'm Steve Farrell with Humanities Team. I'm here in Boulder, Colorado. I live near my dear friend Jonathan Goldman and his wife Andi, and it's my pleasure to be here just to introduce Jonathan and Andi as this program starts. So, and of course, this is a sound satsang, and it's a monthly program now that Humanities Team is really grateful to be producing each and every month with Jonathan and Andi. So thanks for being with us. I think you're going to have a fantastic time. Let me just want to read a brief introduction here as we get started. So Jonathan and Andi Goldman are a powerful pair in the world of conscious living and sound healing. Jonathan is an internationally recognized authority, pioneer, and author in sound healing. Andi is a licensed psychotherapist who utilizes holistic treatment and sound healing. Both are highly respected leaders in the sound healing and spiritual music community. Andi and Jonathan have co-written 2 books together, Chakra Frequencies and The Humming Effect. And again, I'll just share, when we came out a moment ago, Jonathan and I were sharing that sound healing is really taking off as it should, because it is, as we're creating conscious living in the world, sound healing is a big role. It's an incredibly useful device. And you're looking at the man here, Jonathan Goldman, who got this whole thing started, was called to it at an early age, and hooray, thank God he was, because look where sound healing is today. And my pleasure, Jonathan, to turn this over to you.
Let there be light. Hello, friends. I am Jonathan Goldman.
And I'm Andi Goldman, and welcome everyone to this Sound Satsang. Here it is the solstice, and we are going to be honoring the energy of this powerful time.
Totally. It is a time of least light and greatest light, and this program is all about light. Let there be light.
Let there be light. And honestly, too, tonight is the 8th night of Hanukkah. So we have the lights from Hanukkah. We have the light from here in the Northern Hemisphere. It is the return of the light. And in the Southern Hemisphere, it is the most light of the year. So we chose to have as our theme tonight, light. And we are, our title of our program tonight is Light of Sound. And we're going to be talking about the scientific aspects of light and sound. And of course, we'll be talking about the spiritual aspects as well. And we're going to be seeing a lovely video that we're going to feel that illumination within our bodies, minds, and spirits. We're going to be listening to some beautiful healing frequencies that are going to help us to encode that light within ourselves. And I will be doing, there's a lot happening astrologically, as there always is. So it's a powerful time. We want to bring you some of that information. And we will also be ending our program tonight with our guided global sound healing meditation for personal and planetary healing.
For those of you who may be joining us for the first time, a satsang is literally anything from a community, a group, a teaching, a discourse, and we are, of course, a community that works with sacred sound for healing and transformation. And instantly tonight, with all this stuff on light, we're going to be dealing with some new material, investigating new territory with the concept of biophotons and how they can be affected by sound. This is very cool and perhaps original stuff.
Well, what we do know, working with sound and light, we know that sound and light are very intimately connected. And actually, it is the human voice that bridges these two forms of energy. So we're going to be delving into so much about sound and light, but I do want to start with, I think we're all fairly familiar with the auric field around us, which is an etheric light that many people can see, but that is light that is around us. And you know, Jonathan, as I'm thinking about that intimate relationship with sound and light, I am remembering that the Lord said,
Right.
Let there be light.
Let there be light.
And so light and sound have been around a long time. I think that was why I wanted to say that.
And just a real big hello to all our friends and all the people and all the community who are here. We welcomed new people, but for those of you who are part of this community, hi, it's a blessing to be here. We're both just so enamored with you being here because there's so many activities happening at this particular time on the planet. And what a brilliant thing, because they're all designed to manifest higher consciousness and more light. What more can you want?
That is right. And we're going to be creating more illumination tonight with each and every one of you. And so talking more about sound and light, I was just mentioning the auric field and the biofield where people can see the aura as well, people who are sensitive. Now, in many different traditions, spiritual traditions, the chakras are said to also give off light, particularly the heart chakra and the third eye. And so tonight, you know, when we talk about the third eye, which is where the pineal gland is, and the heart chakra, what we know is that they both give off an electromagnetic field, and that field is measurable. And of course, when we're working with our sound and focusing on the heart and the third eye, you know, the experiential aspects of feeling that light within ourselves is quite powerful and quite profound. And when we think too about the heart center and the pineal gland, the third eye, these are really considered gateways to divine light. And so on a spiritual level, we have a lot going on that we can work with. Yeah. But also tonight, we want to bring in some scientific validation as well.
Indeed. So we were talking about the spiritual aspect and how, indeed, whether it's the aura or the chakras or the halo, do you know that the most common religious symbol throughout the planet is the halo? I just learned that a couple of days ago from reading a book called Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown, who is the guy who wrote the Da Vinci Code. Pretty cool book. It's all about consciousness, but that was one of the first things stated in it. I said, oh, that's very cool. It's the halo, because of course the illuminated crown chakra, if you like, which is pretty rare in most humans, not so much in saints have that and holy people, but the illuminated crown chakra usually creates some sort of halo effect. Okay, so spiritual, light and spirituality, yes indeed, but what about the scientific? Well, last Sound Satsang, we dealt with the concept of quartz crystals, yes, and how you could take two quartz crystals, rub them together, and they would create a inner luminescence, an inner light. And we called this crystalloluminescence as a name, or acoustoluminescence, we refer to it. And recently, we came across another term, which is triboluminescence, referring to the phenomena of being able to rub two crystals together and having it glow, if you like. But it seems that regardless of the name, the actual mechanisms of how this occurs is not necessarily known, but it's still a phenomena that does exist. And then we have sonoluminescence. And this is actually a beautiful metaphor for the winter solstice teachings we're doing, literally transforming sound waves into brilliant light. And this sonoluminescence, which can also be called bioluminescence because it comes from living creatures. I don't know how many of you have gone to the ocean at night and seen sometimes this kind of bluish light from the ocean. That's because of some underwater creatures, algae, and other such phenomena that literally are able to transform sound into light, creating this luminosity, which is really, really cool. And again, with this one, the mechanisms of this phenomena of sonoluminescence are unknown, but it does happen.
Well, and Jonathan, I just have to ask you to tell a story that you've told many times about your experience with sound and light at the harmonic convergence in Palenque. And I know that some of you may have heard this before, but it is so poignant, really, for our program tonight on Sound and Light. Would you share that,
And
Jonathan?
this was definitely not crystalloluminescence. It might have been bioluminescence, but how or what? But what happened was that I was with a group of people, and we were taken into a newly excavated Mayan temple that was partly under the ground. And we went into this chamber, and the guide that was there knew about my interest in work with sound. This happened during the harmonic convergence, so this would have been, August 16th, 1987, a while ago. Turns off the light and says, make sound. And I began to intone some harmonics. And as I did that, this luminosity occurred. It wasn't like a flashlight or anything like that. It was as though we began to see in a very short amount of time. We could see the outlines of each other, and then the actual more details as the luminosity occurred. And then all of a sudden, the guy turns his flashlight back on, turns the actual light on, and we walked out the room. And I was like, wow, did that really happen? Did I just see that, or was I just making it up? So I said to these people, there were about 6 people, I said, did you see some sort of light occurring? They said, yeah, we could do that. And we were all stunned. And that experience has sort of haunted me, if you like, since then, trying to explain how did that happen? What was the explanation for it? Was there a physical plane explanation, or spiritual, or both? And we, in my first book, Healing Sounds, I spend a bit of time talking about the fact that the ancient mystery schools were said to teach this ability to the adepts, and that they had to be able to literally create their own light using sound through initiation. And I basically was focusing mostly on the pineal gland as being the phenomena, because the pineal is said to be a bioluminescent organ. A fellow by the name of Dr. Frank Barr researched this because of a substance known as neuromelanin, which is a phototransducer. Another man by the name of Dr. J.J. Hurtak, who is the author of a wonderful book called The Keys of Enoch, suggested that our neurocircuitry can produce its own light field. I know that a couple of sound satsangs ago, I showed some heat thermography pictures where I was intoning vocal harmonics, and you could literally see through the heat thermography this area of my head really lighting up with the sounds that I was creating. Back at this time that I'm trying to figure this all out, how did this happen? I asked Dr. Alfred Tomatis, who was one of the great modern pioneers of, if you like, the ear. He wrote a brilliant book called The Conscious Ear. And I asked him, I said, I think that this came from, third eye being, manifested the pineal. And he said, no, it is French. I can't do a French accent, but it is the heart that does it. I said, well, okay, which didn't make much sense to us until what we reveal now. Drum roll.
Oh, drum roll, because I would like to bring into everyone's consciousness a concept, a new concept, really, from our perspective in the sound healing world, and that is the concept of biophotons. Biophotons were first discovered by a scientist by the name of Dr. Fritz Albert Popp back in the 1970s. And biophotons, Jonathan, talk about biophotons, because this is really going to answer your question.
Well, it was a crazy thing, because I think it was either our dear friend Greg Braden or our dear friend Bruce Lipton who was talking about this at a conference that they were doing together. One of them, or perhaps both of them. But biophotons are a very faint light. It's undetectable through the human eye. And I say normally because, people can see all sorts of things. And I've often wondered if the concept of biophotons now aren't somehow related to the auric field we were talking about. But this very faint electromagnetic phenomena that is undetectable by the human eye, and it's generated by the cells, and particularly our DNA as a source of creating this luminosity. Now, our brain has more biophotons, perhaps because of its electromagnetic activity, than other parts of the body for the most part, and the more active your neurons are, the more light that they produce.
And Jonathan, when we think about this, is really so exciting for us to kind of stumble upon this concept, because when we are actually thinking, when we are feeling, when we are processing information, really, because of these biophotons, our brain is really lighting up, actually. And so our brain, we're going to be able to measure the light in our brain with biophotons. Now,
through very, very, very sophisticated, delicate equipment, though.
But also, according to our colleague and dear friend Greg Braden, who talks about the sensory neurons of the heart, and the sensory neurons of the heart have been called the little brain of the heart.
There are actually 40,000 of these sensory neurons that are found in the heart. And they're very similar to the cells in the brain. And together they give us this benefit of working as a single potent neural network shared by two separate organs. This is in Greg's book,
Pure Human.
Pure Human.
Which we want to give a plug for. It's a fabulous book.
And it's neurons, especially active sensory neurons, produce greater amounts of biophotons than other types of cells. And under certain conditions, intense metabolic activity or synchronized firing, this biophotonic production can be perceived as a luminosity, a luminescence.
And so actually, one of the reasons we're so excited about this is because with this phenomenon of biophotons, we now have a mechanism now that we can measure both the heart and the brain with possibly potentially creating light.
And indeed, if you think about it, the heart generates 50 to 500 sometimes greater amounts of electromagnetic energy than the brain. So once again, they're working all together. And this will be tying in a moment with some other stuff. But the idea, this for me was a great explanation for, how could the heart and the brain both potentially produce luminosity? Maybe it's through the biophotons.
Well, and what's exciting for us about it with working with sound is that when we are humming, when we are toning, when we are chanting, we are resonating these different parts of our body, and that sound is triggering the biophoton production. And so our sound is actually helping us to, if you will, light up.
Right. I'm going to speculate that it is, because this is new material again. I haven't found any references to this, but I've sort of been putting the pieces together as I've been researching this, and that the phenomena we've, of course, talked about, the vibroacoustic facts that sound can vibrate, literally vibrate, the cells of our body. And in particular, we found, for example, that the most powerful vibroacoustic sound that we can make is going to be the hum, followed then by vocal harmonics, then followed then by, well, something like the ohm, which is, if you like, the child of the hum, and even doing other vocal activities to produce and stimulate biophotons. They, if you like, they create metabolic activity and neural synchronization, which creates the biophotonic luminosity.
And so once again, when we are humming, when we are chanting, when we are toning, we are not just making sound. We are activating the light-producing mechanisms in our heart and in our brain. And we are literally becoming light beings. And in fact, when Dr. Pop was discovering the biophotons, he was calling us beings of light. And so when we're working with our sounds, our hearts and our brains are being stimulated with these biophotons. So you can see why we got quite interested in this when we discovered it, because I haven't heard anyone else talking about it.
Right, so this may be a first, and if you're interested in it, write to us at info@healingsounds.com. I think this is really, really worthy of further investigation, and incidentally, it's not only our voice that produces these, this metabolic activity and neural synchronization, but other sounds. In fact, then we can bring in the phenomena of psychoacoustics, where the sound goes into our ear, into our brain, and certain sounds like binaural beats and different types of music can assist in this phenomenon of creating our own light, because it gets the brain active also.
Well, we can also breath and visualization. Certainly when we do our heart-brain coherence meditation, that is stimulating the electromagnetic field,
right,
bringing forth these biophotons.
So all those things,
yeah,
breathing techniques, visualization, heart-brain coherence also generate biophotonic activity.
So tonight, with our main focus, with the solstice energy bringing in light, we've been able to share a few pieces of the scientific evidence of working with sound and light, and of course the spiritual evidence as well, working with the heart chakra and the third eye chakra. And all of these are really speaking to the profound relationship between sound, light, and consciousness. And so this time of light, this solstice energy, is such an important time to tap into our own light. And basically what we are wanting to do tonight, and really every night, is actually encode our sounds with light, and encode our sounds with the intention of light, of love, of kindness, of compassion. And so when we talk about sound and light, it's really about bringing that light into ourselves and our own inner light. And in just a moment, we are going to see a beautiful, beautiful video that has got a lot of illumination and a lot of light. And we're going to be hearing some very, very healing frequencies along with the light. And so I ask you at this time, when we begin that process, that we open our hearts to more light and more compassion.
Right. What we're going to be hearing is video is called Light of Sound, and this is an edit of a recording of the heart chakra from my Frequencies album, and it was music designed for compassion, for resonance of the heart chakra, and it puts us on a very relaxed state for using sound for global healing. I'd like to suggest that my voice is on there, Andy's voice is on there. You'll hear us saying love, it's stuff like that, and some great sounds, including those of like humpback whales, great psychoacoustic sounds, and also the wonderful toning of our beloved angelic-oriented
Well, the mother of divine sound, Sarah Benson, who is in the angelic realms right now, but hearing her beautiful voice. So we really hope that watching this and experiencing this short video and listening to these sounds will help us all to encode light into our energetic field so that we can tap into all the light on the planet right now.
Right. So as we begin to watch this, just take a moment and think how you would like to utilize more light for yourself and for the planet.
Love. Oh my goodness.
I
That
heard
illumination, Jonathan, was so, it's still there. I feel it.
one of those major sounds was this sounds of the humpback whale doing this extraordinary sound, and I also heard "When Upon My Home" being jammed in
Oh
the
yeah,
background,
there
lots of stuff.
lots
Just,
of layers in this that I didn't even know about.
Interesting phenomena. And I chose the angel as an image to be utilized because biblically, angels of light, they're like so luminescent you can almost not look at them. So I thought that was a good metaphor for what we're seeking in our travels to more light.
Well, and of course, having more light here on the solstice is the perfect time. And I'd like to talk a little bit now about the solstice and about some of the astrological influences that we're feeling right now on our planet. But I want to just say once again, happy solstice to
Happy
everyone.
solstice, everyone.
And we're
Ah,
I know, we're
yeah.
just delighted that you're with us on this
Thank you
really
so much. Yeah.
auspicious, powerful
Means so
energy.
much to us. Yeah.
And we are indeed in the energy of the solstice right now. In fact, it happened this morning here in Colorado in the Mountain Time Zone. It happened at 8:03 this morning. And of course, that would be 10:03 Eastern Time, 7:03 Pacific Time. And no matter where you are in the world, whatever time zone you're in, we are in the energy of this powerful solstice. And it's interesting because for millennia, people all around the world have honored this solstice energy. They have honored it with rituals and ceremonies and, oh my goodness, festivals. And it's the time of the year where in the northern hemisphere, we are getting ready for the return of the light. Once that sun hits that 0 degrees of Capricorn and the solstice begins, for us here in the northern hemisphere, that is considered the return of the light. Now, in the southern hemisphere, it is the opposite of that. And our friends down under and in the southern hemisphere are experiencing their summer solstice. And that is the time for them where they have the most light on the planet. So here we're experiencing the longest night and the shortest day. In the southern hemisphere, you're experiencing the longest day and the shortest night. Either way, it doesn't matter because light is the main topic. And in fact, when the Latin word for solstice actually means sun stands still. And so the sun was standing still until it reached that 0 degrees of Capricorn. And that was when we had our solstice energy. So we are in the return of the light. We are in the most light. And it's really so great that we can focus on light, because I know that for some of us, and probably for all of us, when we're in that darkest moment, if we can remember that there's always light, there's always even just a speck of light that can bring us hope
And then we can generate our own light.
And exactly. And so interestingly, at this time, this solstice time, we've got the most light and the least light. We've got the most light and the most dark. And so we're talking here about the polarity of light and dark. And if we can just begin to sort of step out of that energy of polarity and begin to integrate both the dark and the light within ourselves, that inner balance is more likely to come in. So this time of the light, it is a great time for renewal, for reflection, for rebirth. And I know here, for us in the northern hemisphere, I always love this time of the year, because for me, this solstice, this the darkest night, the longest night. It's a time to go deep within, and that beautiful time of reflection, of stillness, and that being quiet. I love that. And when we are really being quiet, we can listen to our inner voice. And as we look within and listen to our inner voice, discovering our inner light and discovering that inner truth of who we are, which is light, which is love. And we have got a while to really integrate this light, because the solstice energy is operative. It is in play for these next 3 months. So it's a good time to be sort of setting those intentions and looking at those parts of our life where we would like to make some positive changes. So we've got the universe supporting us. And of course, just 2 days ago, we had a new moon. And of course, a new moon is rebirth. It is time for setting intentions. It is time for reflection. So we've got that new moon, which is a perfect complement, ushering in this solstice time and this solstice energy. Now, I also want to mention that on December 19th, the same day that we had that new moon, we also had a galactic visitor, if you will, from another planet. And I know another galaxy, I meant to even say. And of course, that is 3I Atlas. And I know that many of you, us included, we've been following this because it is really quite a phenomenon. And I've been listening to some different people that are channeling information. And what I'm getting is that it's a real beneficial energy. And nobody really knows exactly what it is. But it is bringing support for us for this new consciousness that is coming in, this higher consciousness. So with the new moon, with 3I Atlas, with the powerful solstice energy, oh my goodness, there is a massive energetic wave of new consciousness. So I have to say that it is an unusually potent portal of energy, providing us with the opportunity of bringing in unity consciousness and oneness. So the solstice energy is providing us with a beautiful backdrop, a powerful energy to really begin to focus on all of these things like our consciousness and our love and our inner light. So let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, the rhythms of nature. Let's tune in to those rhythms of nature. And of course, for us, we look outside here in Colorado and all the leaves have fallen from the trees and the trees are barren. It looks pretty empty out there. However, below the surface, there is a lot of action. There's a lot of activity going on that is going to be coming up when we get to the energy of the equinoxes. And so I invite you to go deep within the surface of your own life and look at what is germinating. What is it that you would like to have blossom and come out in the next 3 months when we do hit that equinox energy? So when we look out and we observe nature, we can see that growth, but really it is this season of light. And let's remember during this time to keep our hearts warm and to keep our hearts filled with compassion and kindness and love, not only for ourselves, but for each other. And as we think about that love for ourselves, we can tune in for the truth of who we are, which really is love, really is light. And Jonathan, I have a beautiful 1-minute solstice prayer that I ran across. Now, I'm not sure where I ran across this prayer or who wrote it, but whoever did, I want to publicly thank you, because I loved it. And I thought, oh, this is such a beautiful prayer. I'd love to share it with our audience the night of the solstice. So here's a solstice prayer. May the longest night and the shortest day rest and bring rest to our minds, our hearts, and our souls. May we find guidance, and may we find peace as the circle of light continues on our planet. May we embrace the magic of this time of the year, and may we deeply nourish ourselves to rest and restore and rejuvenate our hearts and our minds, and enjoy, everyone, this time of light. So, thank you. And let us now, we are going to really have a great time to talk about our guided meditation that's coming up.
And I know most of you have experienced it, and it's a profound piece of combination of guided meditation, psychoacoustic, vibroacoustic experience that's really going to illuminate us on many different levels. We talk a little bit about heart-brain coherence before and how that can create, if you like, the phenomena of this biofield luminosity, and creating our own sounds, psychoacoustic sounds that's loaded with all those things. And just remember, follow the instructions that Andi's going to be guiding you through during the whole thing, and it'll place you in a state of heart-brain coherence. And then we will be adding our own sounds. Remember not to get too carried away with just listening to it, but adding your own sounds, the om, everybody else. We can literally feel that. We may not be able to hear you, but there's no separation between us. We are one, and when you make the sound, it literally amplifies our field, it amplifies our consciousness. This is a reason why so many of the prayers on our planet are vocalized, whispered, chanted, spoken, or sung. They amplify the power of our meditations. They amplify the power of our prayers.
Yes.
And this is just it. So we'd like to just suggest now that as we delve into this, we are projecting our light, our love, and our sound to the planet during this global guided Om.
And I just want to mention briefly that when we do get to the part where we are sounding out loud, as you are sounding out loud with us, to stay in that comfort zone and really sounding forth with the Om. But the first part of the meditation, I'll be guiding you through that heart-brain coherence, and just follow along and feel the biophotons popping in your body, in your heart, and in your brain.
And tap into all the other people on the planet who are meditating, projecting light and love and sound to help create a new evolutionary process on our beloved planet Earth. Russell, if we may.
We're ready for this meditation. The purpose for this meditation is to project a sound encoded with the energies of light and love, and project healing to the Gaia matrix, our beloved planet Earth. We will first create coherence between our heart and our brain. This effect will further be amplified by the power of the Om that you will be toning along with later, bringing more light and love into your body, mind and spirit for health and wellness. And now, begin to focus on your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly breathing in and out. And as you're breathing in and out, imagine or visualize that you're breathing in and out through your heart. As you're breathing in and out through the area of your heart, remembering that it is love that breathes each breath, and it is love that causes each beat of our heart. Continue breathing slowly, breathing in and out in this manner. And now, I'd like you to call to mind something that has brought you a great deal of appreciation, gratitude, something that you are feeling very good about. This might be an experience with another person. Perhaps it's a beautiful sunset. It may be a beloved pet, a spouse. But it is something that has brought you loving kindness and gratitude and appreciation. And as you're breathing in and out through your heart, feeling this appreciation, feeling this gratitude, you're creating a beautiful coherence between your heart and your brain. And your heart, through this coherence, is expanding, getting larger and larger, and connecting with all the heart and loving energy on our planet in this moment. This is just a wonderful way of creating a very powerful heart activation, and you'll be amplifying this with the sound of the Om. Continue breathing slowly and deeply while feeling appreciation and gratitude, and imagining your breath going in and out through your heart. Now, visualize this energy and begin to sense a radiant light around you that is permeating every cell of your body and resonating your heart chakra. In a moment, we'll begin to gently sound forth with the power of the Om. And as you do this, visualize the planet Earth as a holographic image floating in front of you. Imagine bathing the Earth in a healing field of light and love that you are creating through your sacred sound. Now, let us begin to make the heart sound of the Om, bringing the energy of global harmonization, peace and healing to our beloved planet, Earth. And now, one last time. Now, being in silence, visualizing all the light and love through sound that you have manifested, resonating and bringing to Earth and yourself to a deep state of healing. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and know that you have contributed to personal and planetary healing.
Thank you all. What's this crystal doing here?
I know we both had our crystals with us, and really
Nice. Thank you all. Co-creative
yes.
experience. And what a blessed thing. We are so grateful for having these gatherings and doing this with you, because this does make a difference. Before we sign off, I want to first of all remind you that probably in about 2 months from now, a little less, we have the 24th annual World Sound Healing Day. I'm not going to do much more than suggest that you go to worldsoundhealingday.org and check in on what's happening this year. And again, we're doing our global unified heart activation that is going to manifest right around 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. And we'll be projecting a global tone, maybe we'll create the greatest massive overtone, global tone that will manifest and change the field of a planet. Be there, join us, it's going to be great. I want to also just remind you about luminosity. We can create our own luminosity, and remember the concepts of the biofield and the sensory neurons, important stuff, and then we can activate this even more through our own sounds, our light and our love can be generated through sound. What a concept at this particular time. So thank you.
Oh, really, it's just been a delight to share all this information with each one of you. And I want to wish everyone a happy, happy solstice, and may your lives be filled with light and love. And may you generate that and send it back out to everyone that you come in contact with and to everyone on our planet. So not only happy solstice, however, but I do want to say happy Hanukkah, which tonight was the 8th night. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I want to wish everyone a happy Kwanzaa. And I certainly want to wish everyone a happy new year.
So
we have a new year just around the corner.
and what a blessing.
Yeah.
And just remember to keep light and love in your hearts, in your field, through the planet, and to bring as much compassion as you can to yourself and to others as well.
And thank you to Humanity's team. Thank you to Russell, our great man behind the curtain, who is the producer of this. And thank you for that.
To Alec
And
Sims.
and to Nasiri, who is our Shah director. And to all of you.
Right. Real quick, we're unable to we get too distracted by all the lovely little comments coming up. We see them and we know you are there and we feel you and we say, Aho, what a blessing it is, brothers and sisters of light and love through sound. Thank you for this extraordinary Solstice Sound Satsang.
Many blessings of love and light through sound to each and every one of you.
Bye-bye now.